All right, this first video I want to go through talks about mulch, and well, let's just watch it.
This job over $550. And what we do is we space the mulch out, grab a rake, level it out about 2 to 3 inches, and then use our hand to block the mulch from exiting the bed.
There's so much wrong with this video. First off, they're using big mulch. There's a lot of debate as far as weed mat goes, underneath mulch or not. It definitely doesn't hurt to put weed mat under mulch, but in this situation, they're using bagged mulch. They're claiming they're putting it down 2 to 3 inches, and they're using big mulch. Well, that's a recipe for weeds. When you're doing mulch, the bigger the mulch, the easier it is to get weeds through it. Second, 2 to 3 inches on big mulch, it's not enough in my opinion. Third, don't use bagged mulch unless it's just a tiny area. It's so much more expensive. You can get bulk mulch if you have a pickup truck, especially if you're charging customers and stuff. Like there's just so much wrong with this.
I'm gonna do a little French drain here, under $5. Let me show you how. So I started by digging a little trough here. It's only going down 6 to 8 inches. I'm gonna lay some rock. I'm gonna cut my 4-inch PVC to size. This was left here at the house, so really no money spent on this. I'm going to drill some holes in the bottom of the PVC pipe and drain it into these rocks that I just put down. And voila, easy $5 French drain.
The point of a French drain is to get water away from something. In this case, they're trying to get water away from the house. By adding on a 2, maybe 3 foot chunk of pipe and drilling some holes, they're not getting it far enough away from the house. So that's the first issue. Second, the pipe is like the backup parachute, right? That's the best way to think about it. So you want to slope the subsurface, the dirt that's basically the pipe or rock in this case is going to lay on. And then you want to put some rock in there, and then you want to put the pipe in there. So when water gets in there, the rock and the slope of the subgrade is actually going to carry the water away. Now, if the water gets to the level of the pipe is designed to start at that point capturing water and to carry it away. So they're kind of combining different things here. They should have gone with a hard pipe without holes in it, attached to the gutter, and got it away from the foundation by a good amount. I mean, ideally, you run the pipe underground, you take it somewhere way off the property, you dump it into like a drainage ditch or something. Ideally, I mean, that's not always possible. They're like I said, they're just combining multiple things here. They're also not wrapping their pipe with fabric to keep dirt and everything out and let the water go into the holes, so it's going to get clogged. But in this case, it doesn't matter if it gets clogged because they're not taking the water anywhere. They're bringing it 3 feet from the house and they're just dumping it straight into the ground still. This just doesn't work. I mean, yeah, he spent $5 and probably wasted an hour doing this, but he doesn't have a benefit. Like, there's literally no benefit to doing this. Yeah, just don't do this. There's much better ways. Also, if you're in an area that freezes, and I can't tell, looking at these plants, it's hard to say. They could be something that would grow in our area, but they could also be in something that grows in a different area. If you're in an area that is cold and freezes, all you're doing is you're putting water into this pipe, you're gonna deadhead it, and then it's gonna freeze in the winter, so that snow's gonna melt, right? And it's gonna go into that pipe and freeze, and then it's gonna back up and cause ice dams. And it's going to destroy your house. I mean, it's gonna be a bad situation. So don't do this.
Landscaping, I wish I would have known when we had our house built. Let me show you. So first and foremost is this. Not a fan of this right here. I am all about the rock because when leaves go in the beds, you can just blow them out. And also when you have irrigation in here, instead of these that are blowing water all over the side of the house and water just going everywhere, you can do a drip system so each plant gets its own water source. The final would be trying to get as much evergreen plants in your yard or in your beds as possible. Those 3 things and you'll have landscaping that you have.
So I actually agree with pretty much all of this. There's a couple key points here. The bark that he showed is huge. It looks like it's like chippings or something for when they make telephone poles or something like that. I mean, it's just absolutely enormous bark. It's not something I've ever dealt with before, which would allow a ton of weeds in. It looks horrible. It's gonna fade really fast because of the surface area. You're not gonna be able to turn it over to kind of refresh the color in it. So yeah, I mean, no, that bark is horrible. If you do like the bark, the mulch, there's a lot better options out there. Second thing he points out is the drip system. I am not a big fan of those bubbler type nozzles on PVC risers. I just, they just, I don't know. I don't like them. I think anytime you can see your irrigation, it kind of looks tacky, especially in bed. So I like everything underground. I like the drips being to the plants themselves, like he was talking about. I like being able to hide all that stuff. It just looks better, in my opinion. Third thing, evergreens, great. They're cool. They do have their own issues. They can, attract a lot of spiders and stuff like that. They do look green year round, which is nice. They are one of the plants that, depending on the evergreen type, can turn really woody really fast. Usually after a few years of trimming them and cutting them back and everything, you start to see kind of the stems and everything underneath, so they can look a little poor. So I would say, while I agree with this, I would also want to mix in some color and some other things to give a little bit of maybe height, kind of differentiate between just strictly all evergreens. So hopefully this gives everyone a little bit of help.